Alright, we're here. It is the next day, and this has had plenty of time to dry. So what I'm going to try and do is find, excuse me, find the edge of the tape here, and we're going to peel off the, excuse me, man, dealing with this cold and the cough has been horrific. Peel off this tape, and I am going to put some tape or leave some tape, but I don't need all of this excessive amount of tape. So I want it to be protected from coming off, but I don't need excessive amounts of tape here. All right. I do want to take it all the way off and just make sure that the sensor was attached, that everything went well. It's like the doctor taking off the bandages here. Okay. Alright. Firmly attached. Okay, we're not going to mess with it at all. The main thing was to make sure that it did adhere, and I'm not going to see how hard I can pull on it to prove that it is connected, but it doesn't want to move, and that's perfect. Looks like maybe a little bit of glue came out the side, which is fine. Means it's got a good blob holding it down. Alright. If I can find the end of this tape, we will put a light wrapping around here just to protect the sensor. And then I'm going to wrap the whole thing as a grip. Okay, basically that's all. Just need to keep it well protected. I need to figure out how I want to wrap my grip back around this and still have this exposed, so this may take some experimentation. This is my old piece of grip tape here. I think what we'll do is I will move the camera angle and move the bow into the bow press for right now, because right now it's hanging sideways so that I could get this perfect overhead view. That'll be upside down facing the floor when it's in the press, but be back in a second. Alright, you guys can see here's the tip of the sensor, and I've got this piece of grip that I had on here before. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just going to put it back on. Don't need a brand new one right now because I'm not even sure how this is going to play nice together yet. So let's figure this out. I think what I want to do is have one wrap go over the front. This is what I'm trying to figure out. The other option is, which may not be the worst idea, thinking maybe if I just wrap the cable coming out, it'll just keep everything from coming disconnected. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Let me get the cable, and then what I'll do is I'll insert the cable here, and then I'll start my wrap, and that way I can leave the cable on the bow even when I take the sensor off, without having to worry about constantly connecting and disconnecting this. So let me get the other cable and I'll be back. Alright, so this is it's a simple micro USB cable, but this is the cable that is going to go from the sensor to the control unit. So let me make sure that I orient it correctly when putting it in. Okay, that's it. All right. We'll see how this grip goes. Try and match up the dirt lines as much as possible from before. That tells me I'll get about the same amount of grip coverage, because I really don't care right now if it looks like it's new tape or not. It has relatively little wear. It's tennis racket tape, and you put a lot more beating on this stuff when you play tennis than you do just holding it like a bow. Sorry about banging the camera. Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of tape. I use electrical tape. You can use the tape that comes with it, but if you've taken that off, then you got to start with something else. So I just cut a strip of electrical tape and use that. So I will get that ready, and then we'll put that on, and then I'm gonna move the bow out of the press and start putting on the other accessories. So stay tuned. All right. So I put a bit of tape on the bottom of the grip here to keep it on. And if I turn the bow a little bit, can't really right now the way the ball vise is, but the cable is got the top of it with the grip on right now. So I'm gonna see how it feels. This will be first time. Let's just get it set up and see what happens. So the next thing we're gonna need to do is to mount the sensor inside the scope housing, and also then secure the cables, and then put the sweet spot on probably my sight bar there, since I can't really think of a better place. Although technically I guess it could go up here on the riser and might work, but there's nothing wrong with the sight bar. So I'm going to get the little LED card out and be right back. Okay, we've run into a bit of a snag once I got the sensor. This is the little LED sensor here. So it's got the connection wire that comes in, and the other side is if you want to plug in a sight light. But the problem is with this tiny little mini mag housing, finding somewhere that's a good fit for it that doesn't interfere with the cap lens that I screw on, it's challenging. So what I think I'm going to do is put it on the top like this, and it doesn't have a great surface area to stick to, but I think that's what we're going to have to do for right now. So I'm going to prepare this, and I am going to see what it ends up looking like, and then if it seems secure enough, then I will attach the cable. So I'm not going to be able to do all this in front of the camera right now. I'm going to go fiddle with it on the bench, trying to get this stuck, and then I'll show that once that's done. Alright, see you in a bit. All right, one of my concerns was, and rightfully so, the diameter of my mini mag is so small compared to the width of this LED card that because it's not a curved shape, now I don't know if it's supposed to bend. I guess it can bend a little, but I don't know that that's a great idea. The sensor's not going to sit flat against the outside, the inside of the housing. So anyway, I have this roll of what's called Joe's sticky stuff. It's an elastomeric adhesive, double backed, and I put a piece of that. I took the tape off the sensor, the backing off the tape so that it's exposed, and then stuck a piece of this Joe's sticky stuff on here to build it up so that it may match the radius a little bit better. So I'm going to give that a try and stick that and see how it goes. So be back in a bit. Alright, that worked pretty good. If you want to see, the camera will, come on, zoom in here, and I'm backwards there. Basically up there, stuck to the top of the housing, is kind of what it looks like from the top. So the cable's going to come out here, and then I'll run it around the housing. And it's not, I wouldn't call it incredibly well secured, but I don't think it weighs very much, so, and it shouldn't get pulled on, so I don't see it going anywhere. But basically from the front view, what I'll be looking through, sorry, the focus is on my face and not on the scope. So I'm backwards here and it's confusing me. There we go. So you see the little sensor up there. Sorry, the camera doesn't want to focus. That's what I'm going to see in my view, and then hopefully I can get a better picture of it when it's all set up on the bow. So let me try to plug in the cable and see how sturdy that looks like it's going to be without, I don't want it to pull the sensor off. I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know until you try. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll start connecting stuff to the bow. Alright, here's a picture of, probably focus is going to be impossible, and I'm backwards from the camera, so there we go. You can see the little ribbon cable going into the LED. And what I'm going to do to try and keep it on the housing right now is I just cut a thin strip of double-sided tape that I'm going to try and stick it to for now so that it doesn't go dangling all over. And once I have that to a place where I'm happy with it, I'm going to put the sight bar back on with the scope, and then we'll see how things attach to the bow. Alright, so got the scope on. The little LED is right up in the top of the housing. I'll see if I zoom in if it can focus enough for you to see. Let me move the camera. Camera doesn't want to move. I got junk in the way. Alright, so if I can focus there, is that okay? Going to give you as good a picture as I can give you, that the little LEDs are right up there near the top, and hopefully everything is visible once we go to shoot it. But right now we're just going to try and get everything mounted securely, and then we'll get there. So basically I've got the brain, and the brain is going to mount on my sight bar here, charger. So you can see on one side, oh boy, this is so confusing. Come on. There. So if I turn it this way, I'm sorry, the backwards mirror image thing's killing me. Come on, focus. Focus. It won't do it. There. So you can see there's a charge and a sensor. And the sensor is the piece down here. And then on this side, there's one that says LED, and that's going to be that one. So what I am going to do is, because I don't want this thing coming off my bar, because just bad things it's going to be bad things happening if that's the case. For now, I'm going to put a piece of double-sided sticky tape, oh boy, on the back here. Use that Joe sticky stuff. Since it's an elastomer, not a foam, it'll peel off later, although it does stay stuck. And then I'll put the little Velcro strap around it just as a safety thing, but I don't feel like cranking that down. So once I do that, I will connect these cables. So let me go get the sticky stuff cut, and then I'll be back to plug everything in. Alright, you guys can see I've turned the bow sideways a little bit. Let me see if I can, it's about as far as I can keep it without rearranging things. But this is a piece of, backing for the sticky tape. And what we're going to do now is basically try to center sensor on here, since once it's on here it's going to stay stuck on here. Okay, so you can see that's on there. That stuff sticks super good, and then I'll put the strap around it to keep it safe. But this part, which comes from my grip, is for the sensor. So that plugs in there, and then I'll just coil this up and, tie it here out of the way or something. And then this little delicate guy, make sure I have the orientation correct, goes in the front. So now I can raise and lower my sight fully. So you can see here that I can come up and down. I can unplug this if I want to take the scope off the sight bar to pack it up. Unplug both of these to put the sight bar away. It'll still have the sweet spot connected to it. If I want to take the thing off to charge, all I have to do is unplug the sensor and then loosen my sight bar clamp and take the whole thing off. So really the only thing left to do is kind of clean this up a bit. So I think what I'll do is I'll just use a couple little zip ties for now. Okay, there. Nothing super tight, so none of the wires are getting pinched right now. It's just trying to take the stress off. So you can see if I jump this around and let's see, get it off my face, pan it on here. You can see that I've got the sensor here protected. It's not going to pull out, mainly because I just wrapped a little bit of the grip over it. And then I have the sweet spot attached here. I've got the cable going into it here. And then if I zoom out here, you see the sight housing here. So there's nothing really holding this in place right now except the double-sided tape. If I love it and want to make it permanent, I can always put a drop of super glue, and that'll make it a lot harder for anything to come off. But I'm not committed to anything as far as permanent placement yet. So right now I'm just going to let it dangle a little bit like this. I need the sight to be able to move freely, and I don't want to connect anything in such a way that it's going to interfere. So right now I think this is probably about as good as I get it. And then I can turn this thing on and at least have you see that it's showing calibrate, and so I've charged it up. I'm going to have to go take some shots, and I'll bring the camera out to do that, and yeah, we'll see what we see. But I got to read the instructions a little bit more to make sure I know exactly what the procedure is on calibrating it before I do that. So we're going to stop the camera here, and I'll get everything set up and then come back for another segment. See you in a bit. Alright guys, out here in the backyard, I've got the instruction manual to try and figure out how to calibrate this thing. I'm going to stick it in my pocket for the moment so I can show you the bow. I did change something I realized right as I was coming out here, like, yeah, I'm going to have some arrow interference having this stick up straight. So you can see what I did. I basically put a little loop over there to pull it sideways so that the arrow is going to come out the center without disrupting the cable at all. So there you have basically the finished thing. I've got it strapped on and everything's hooked up. So what we're going to try and do is the kind of the first time setup. I'm going to set my scope about where I would shoot, and we're going to be at pretty close to point blank. I mean, I'm not worried about hitting a specific spot. I'm worried about making a shot that feels like the right amount of pressure. So I'm going to grab my phone. I'm going to grab the instruction manual. So it says upon the first power up or factory reset, the device will need to be calibrated. See the hard calibration section. So it then says, see if we can get some of this. It says press the calibrate menu to perform a hard calibration upon power up. So we're going to power up. It says calibrate. And now I'm going to press select. And it is running through and it says fire shot. Okay, so what we're going to do is fire a shot. Okay, there's the first shot. It's doing something. Oh, I think even picking up the bow is having deflection. So that is super sensitive. So I'm curious, yeah. This thing is so sensitive. Setting it on the stabilizer, holding it by the grip, doing everything is registering some level of calibration, which is crazy how sensitive that is. So let's see what it says next. The active screen should be shown. I don't know, is that the active screen? Calibrate. High value 887, optimal value 864. I don't know. I'm guessing that's the active screen. I really don't know. Use the calibrate menu to perform a soft calibration when the force counts drift. Alright, the active screen. After calibration, the active screen will show force counts, high counts, last shot counts, optimal counts, number of shots, Wi-Fi enabled, disabled if not present. I don't have Wi-Fi set up right now. Battery percentage. It's at 96% battery. Okay, optimal value. Navigate to optimal value. So I need to get my Wi-Fi set up with my phone if I want to connect it to this. Temp comp coming. Okay. LED brightness, shot timer, shot count, shots fired, calibrate. Alright. So if we click high value, yeah, that shows that. Optimal value. Optimal value, yeah, okay. So it looks like it's got everything. Alright, well, I wonder what's going to happen now if it means that it's ready for me to fire another shot. Let me see if I can see a light go on. Yep, red, green. That's cool. It started blinking. I was leaking pressure, but had not gotten to the point where I was outside the range, I guess, but it was blinking, and then when I drew back a little bit more, it went green. I don't think I'm going to be catching the LED action so easily on the camera. I will try it, but I'm not sure how that's going to work. Red, green, green. I'm going to overpull. Red, relax, blinking. So I shot that without enough tension, I think, because the light went out, which is really, really cool. So now I get to adjust it. That's the beauty of it. I get to figure out what is my perfect shot. I just took one shot. I wasn't warmed up. So let's see if I can get the camera behind me. And maybe I'll be able to see. And then, yeah. Oh, well, we're going to give it a try. I'm going to have to back the film up and watch it to see if I caught it. I'm not going to be turning around looking up at this thing while I've got the bow at full draw. Red and green, green. I'm not sure if you could see it. And I'm also not in the same position I was before, so the arrows aren't even impacting the same spot. Not important. Red and green, 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 lights up. Means I need to pull more. Now it's green. So that's a really good indicator of you're getting lazy. You know, I wasn't creeping. I just was relaxing too much and not being optimal tension. So this is about getting you into a zone that you really want to shoot at. Okay, we're going to try one more to see if you can see it better. Duh, why not try from the left side since my scope's on the left of the sight bar? I will see if that makes it easier. So I'm going to try the same thing and shoot another arrow. Hopefully this gets caught. I think you probably could see the green blinking light in the last one, but let's just see if this gives you a better view. I hope that catches it. So red and green, green. I'm going to relax. Went off. I'm going to pull too hard. Goes red. Relax. So you see I just started to drop pressure a little bit and then the shot went off. Anyway, I hope you guys caught that. I'm going to take it inside now and see it on the big screen, see what came out. And alrighty, take care guys. Talk to you soon. You wanted to see the Sweet Spot Pro getting installed and take a couple shots. I hope I caught it all, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.